At the very end. So the little screens where all the names are listed out. You can just find your name missing what. And the tour will start just here at 12 p.m.
Sorry, are you on this floor?
Yes.
10:45.
No, 10:45.
Yeah, if you want to come in.
10:45.
Oh no, you are at 11, guys. So the next one, perfect.
All right.
So welcome everybody to Titanic Experience. My name is Dalila. Today I'll be your tour guide. Now just before start, you're more than welcome to take as many photos as you like. We just ask no video please for copyright reasons. No problem at all, you're just on time. Okay.
I edit in
Gli audio guide possono premere uno e play. And for the rest of you, it's time for me to take you back in time in 1912 when this town cove was called Queenstown. The name was given after the visit of Queen Victoria in 1849 and it lasts until 1922 after the proclamation of the Irish Free State when Queenstown became again Cove but spelled in the Irish way, C-O-B-H. This building here is the original building of the White Star Line where the ticket office was. So if you were meant to travel to America, you would have come here just like you today to buy your tickets. In the morning of the 10th of April 1912, the most beautiful ship ever built, the RMS Titanic, left Southampton in England for the maiden voyage to America. On the same day, Titanic arrived in Cherbourg in France to board more passengers, and in the morning of the 11th of April 1912, Titanic arrived here in Cork Harbour. The ship was actually anchored at the mouth of the harbour in an area called Rochers Point. So, waiting here, ready to go on board, were 123 passengers, 3 booked in first class, 7 in second class, and the majority, 113, were booked in third class. To carry the passengers from the dockside to the ship in Rochers Point were used 2 small steamboats called tenders, named PS Ireland and PS America. The tenders were divided by classes. So, the third class passengers were carried on board of PS America with all the mail bags because Titanic was doing also mail service, while all the rich people, first and second class, were carried with a little bit more room and comfort on board of PS Ireland. But just before I tell you more about the passengers, and most important, their stories, well, Officer Boxall is going to give us now a little bit more information on the rich and famous already on board.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Queenstown, your embarkation point for our journey to New York. Now, if I can have your attention, please. My name is Joseph Boxall, and I am an officer on the RMS Titanic, the pride of the White Star Line. You are invited to board the tenders that will take you out to Rochers Point and to the greatest ship ever built. And you're in good hands, I can tell you. You're sailing under the most experienced mariner in the fleet, Captain Edward Smith, a favourite of the rich and famous. Millionaires will change their travel plans just to sail with. Already on board the ship are some of the most prominent people of our time. Millionaire property tycoon John Jacob Astor is returning to New York, travelling with his new bride, Madeline. She's only 19. Philadelphia mining heir Benjamin Guggenheim is also travelling, accompanied by his valet, chauffeur, a maid, and a French lady friend. And of course there is Isidore Straus, the owner of the famous Macy's department store. Our destination is one of the great cities of the world, New York. God willing, we will arrive there in 6 days. Queenstown is our final stop before crossing the Atlantic. All aboard now, please.
Okay, so you can now proceed in room on the left, and you can all take a seat in tender. It's time to go aboard.
Next na namin ay dun sa pangalawang proclamation. Yan.
and carries over 8,000 tons of coal. The Titanic generates enough electricity to power a small city. Titanic's 9 decks can carry up to 3,547 souls, passengers and crew. 2,228 are on board today, or will be, when you join our company. With her watertight doors and compartments, she is virtually unsinkable. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the Titanic. Please proceed to the
Okay,
deck.
so just before I take you to the rest of the tour, let me tell you a little bit more about the two gentlemen on the wall. Well, probably you all recognize the man with the beard, Captain Edward Smith, very experienced captain of the White Star Line fleet. In 1912, Captain Smith was meant to be on his retirement, but he was called back on duty by the company for the high profile of some of the passengers. He never enjoyed his pension, unfortunately, because he died in the sinking. Next to him, Chief Purser McElroy, and his main duties on board were manage the finance and reach passengers' request. He didn't survive to the journey too, unfortunately. So this one is probably the last photo that we have of both of them. And it was taken by the journalist of the Court Examiner, one of the lucky ones invited on board just before the departure. So we have at least a last memory of them. But now, if you want to follow me outside.
Okay, let's go for the next tip. So, una sa entrance, tapos dito sa mga. Yung museum, malapit lang siya sa puerto.
A big time saving. Now, the area of the mouth of the harbor and Rochas Point is not visible from here. It's covered by Spike Island. There is the island right in front of us. For a long time, the place was a prison, so it's also known as the Irish Alcatraz. Now, if you're going by the cathedral from there, you can see the mouth of the harbor and Rochas Point. But I think that some of you are on the cruise liner, is it? No, not the best thing to say to someone on a ship, probably, but on the way out of the harbour, you're going to cross the exact same area where Titanic was anchored, so you're going to have a proper idea of the route of the tenders and what these people seen in 1912. So, let's go back to this building, because at that time, there was a strict separation between classes, not only on board of the tenders, but also here in this building. And if you were a third-class passenger, you would have waited down below by the quayside where the bar and the restaurant are nowadays. At that time, no bar or restaurant were to go find for a meal, unfortunately, but all the rich people, first and second class, were here on this balcony, enjoying the view. Don't worry, but they're
Ayun, andito tayo sa kung saan yung last port na Titanic before.
beds, so if you were traveling alone, you would have shared it with other people that maybe you never met before. There was a section of cabins for men, a section for women, and another section for families. So strict separation station at that time, no shortage of places. A cabin like this is a very hard. So, this one is just an example of how a first-class cabin would have looked like. The cabins in first class had different style, size, and most important, prices. So as you can hear them, perfect, because we can't leave in third class. Okay, so we said different prices. The most expensive on board were the parlor suite, where only millionaires like John Jacob Astor or Bruce Ismay would have stayed. In today's money, the cabins will cost you nearly $70,000. So definitely they would have a private toilet and a private bathtub too. Now John Jacob Astor, despite being one of the richest men at the time, still exists nowadays. It's a very fancy place in Cork city centre. And to come over here, the family just took the train from the Kent station. But now Officer Boxall is going to give us a little bit more information again.
Ladies and gentlemen, what are you doing here? At this time of night, sir? Are you not? Third-class passengers aren't allowed up here. This luxury isn't for the likes of you. Only, these are the first-class cabins.
Because they were afraid to jump. Others wouldn't leave their husbands. All the men could do was watch. Things looked so grim. Everyone prayed.
The last thing I remember after being in the boat was the cries of the drowning. I said the rosary for them and thought it didn't much matter what became of me. Only I knew my parents would grieve.
And the band kept playing. I don't know how the men did it. It played as we got on the boats. It played when we drifted away. Men jumped into the sea. But the band kept playing.
We were shoved into the last of the lifeboats. I had to watch drowning men being beaten with oars. They couldn't overturn the boat we were in. We watched the lights go out one by one and the huge ship sliding into her grave.
Hold on, son. We're coming. You're going to be alright, son. You're going to be alright. We're coming. Here, help me. Help. Here. Get on. Pull him. You're going to be alright, son. You're going to be alright. What is next? Easy, easy, easy. Hold down. You're going to be alright, son.
We saw the bottom row of lights disappear under the water and watched as line after line disappeared. We were completely surrounded by large cakes of ice. It could not have been more than 7 minutes before there was a terrible explosion. Oh, God be merciful to us. The cries that came from that ship, I'll never forget. I could just see the face of a woman and her 5 children on board.
John Cargill is my name, able seaman on board the Carpathia. We're here to help you.
Souvenirs ko ba? Ayan yung mga replika ng Titanic. Nakita ko nasa ano siya, nasa 15 mahigit 15.95 euro. So sa dollar to nasa ano na siya, siguro 18. So ito na yung napili ko. So ito na yung magiging souvenirs ko naman.